There we go. Howdy campers. It's your boy GallifreyanAvenger here, and I don't know. I'm tired of what Hollywood is consistently doing to our beloved franchises, and of course, you know, nostalgia has always been an element that they they can exploit, and no better example, especially recently, than Star Wars, where we had the Kenobi trailer release. It was last week. It was, yes, where it follows the story of what happens to Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ben Kenobi as he's going by at that point in time, after the Jedi are exterminated and he is keeping a watchful eye over Luke. And you're just like, you brought back Obi-Wan Kenobi for this, and the funny thing is there's barely any footage of the main character in his own show. So already alarm bells are ringing. But you know what? I decided let's go back to the old nostalgia chest and play Lego Star Wars, which I loved as a kid. And Lego as well, they capitalized on making Lego versions of every beloved franchise, and to the point where, isn't it in April, they're bringing out Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which, first and foremost, I hate that episodes 1 through 9 are being deemed the Skywalker Saga. 7 through 9 are cinematic abortions, in my opinion. Like, it took me many years to realise, and it was mainly down to, watching Mauler, who is another YouTuber who he goes really in depth about the mechanics of storytelling and continuity and just the building blocks of really what makes a good story. So shout out to Mauler, even though he's doing well on YouTube. I just come in here every once in a while. So yeah, he starts off with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and just for the record, I've muted the. Well, hold on. I've muted the music because they're using the Star Wars soundtrack, and I would get a strike, or I would get a claim of some description anyway. But anyway, enough preamble. Remember Qui-Gon? Remember Star Wars? Remember when it was good? I mean, that being said, the prequels, they're objectively they're not good, but I do have a soft spot for them. They're very memeable. Phantom Menace not so much, but I still enjoyed this game, exploring through it through the Lego lens, if you like. Yeah. Usually we'd have the big booming fanfare of Star Wars soundtrack, but I'm trying to circumvent copyright claims here, so can you blame me? And that is where I press mute, because there's soundtrack music in here, so just a precaution. Have to give it to Lego though. It's nothing more than a shameless marketing tool. Just buy our Lego Star Cruisers. Okay. Sorry if I peaked there. Turn down the mic sensitivity. But anyway. No. There we go. I'm just thinking back to the droids in the prequels, the battle droids. No, I don't want to get copyright struck. Jesus Christ, the game's trying to curse me. But yeah, the droids in the prequels. Apart from the droidicas, I never saw them as threatening to the characters, even though you can beat droidicas in this. Alright, you know what? I'm going to get me some studs, so... Oh wait, the game already is muted because I did it in the cutscene. Alright, let me just do this. That should be fine. Funny how the room is filling up with toxic gas and it is doing nothing to our main men. Well, even though they had their respirators in that film, didn't they? Phantom Menace was a weird one. It was very weirdly paced. And it's funny because one of the big complaints, well, mainly sort of propagated by Red Letter Media, when the Plinkett videos came out, absolutely lambasting the prequels. Like one of the common criticisms was, we don't care about the space politics, even though, like, looking back on it now, I don't exactly mind it as much because it's a cautionary tale more than anything. Like Palpatine's rise to power, now he abuses the Galactic Senate to give him emergency powers, so that he can orchestrate a galactic war and become emperor. And that's interesting, the granting of emergency powers. That's not timely at all, is it? And that's all I have to say on that, because YouTube's terms and services don't like it when you speak up on certain topics. But anyway, yeah, but just on the pacing of the Phantom Menace, like, really, the first, I want to say, half hour is, you know, getting Queen Amidala off of Naboo, and then, well, like the next half hour, 45 minutes is just going to Tatooine and then sort of a painfully drawn out pod racing sequence. But that being said, though, I mean, I would watch The Phantom Menace a million times over The Last Jedi. Just, yep, there's the protocol droid. Oh, Obi-Wan, what are they going to do to destroy your character in your own show? I'm genuinely concerned. Because I really do like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Like, he had a certain gravitas to that character, even though he was, let's be honest, he wasn't given the best material. Like, George Lucas's script writing, let's be real, it can be rather shaky. But again, it is far superior to what we got in the sequel series, where J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson just hadn't a notion of what they were doing in the grand scheme of things. Or Lucasfilm in general, for that matter. And it honestly baffles me how Kathleen Kennedy is still in the position she's in. It'll just be me spamming the same move. But alright, platforms. Take care of these fuckers first. Okay. Right. Okay. There's not a lot I can do with that. There's probably a character I can use in free play to... There's probably something just outside of jumping range as a standard character. But anyway, we're still in story mode for the moment. I'm trying to get the studs. Oh, here are the droidicas. Which got an upgrade in the Book of Boba Fett. In the finale fight scene, where they were much bigger, they had the same shields, and they were just causing absolute devastation to whatever city in Tatooine they were invading. Mos Eisley or Mos Espa. Oh, fuck off. It's all about timing. Fuck. Alas, poor Obi-Wan, I knew him well. But this is the thing though, because obviously this is an emulator, and it's just having to sort of familiarize yourself with the localized controls on the keyboard, and as well as that, the sort of the timing, like particularly with redirecting the blaster shots, because there's a different rhythm, I guess, if that makes sense. Like timing it correctly when they fire their weapon, because that's the thing in the game, you have to time it like so. So it redirects back at them. Again, if only I had a GameCube controller. fuck's sake. Just die. Alright. Open the transport. And there'll probably be a cutscene, so I'll just prepare myself, because there will be soundtrack music playing. There we go. So they're stowing away. Episode 2 and 3 unlocked. Hey. I can't skip it for some reason. Okay, thank you. We'll carry on then. Invasion of Naboo. I think it's kind of neat that each chapter has their own title crawl. I'm just getting flashbacks to the Rise of Skywalker. The dead speak. Somehow Palpatine returned. They were struggling to find an ending to that whole series. Oh, it was bad. Okay. This is where the fun begins. Right. Let's kick on then. There we go. Take that. I also had a thought of maybe playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, not the new one, the old one. But the thing about that is it's not an emulator, and the thing is I only have one monitor, and so like my entire screen would be taken up. And the novelty of a second monitor would mean that I'd be able to see the status of the stream or chat activity or stuff with the second one, but it's a toss. Right, okay. Oh, neat. I thought I'd need Jar Jar to reach there. Yeah, that's the thing with Jar Jar. When you unlock him as a character, he can jump extra far, or extra high rather. No, mute. Yeah, remember the time when Jar Jar was the most universally hated character in Star Wars? That changed very quickly when The Last Jedi came out. Oh god. Okay. Just turn this back on. But Yeah, I do feel bad for Ahmed Best, to be honest. And like it goes back to this whole discussion of fan harassment. That old chestnut where mainstream media, that was their golden goose in terms of a cudgel to attack fans of a franchise, so they can clearly misrepresent them. Oh, they loved bringing up Kelly Marie trans exit from social media, even though there was no verifiable evidence that it was down to fans harassing her. Like, from what she said, it's down to she needed a break from social media and the newly found fame from Star Wars. She, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but she had difficulty coping with it, which, again, I don't blame her. Like, being brought into the spotlight like that, especially in a Star Wars movie, there is going to be, a certain level of attention. And it was the same with Daisy Ridley. Like, she got rid of her Instagram because she needed a break, but people reckon it was because she had a certain. She put up something about the Second Amendment or something, gun rights, and America has quite the multi-layered view on that, depending on what political leaning they have or their stances in general. Whereas I try not to delve into it, and I've just realised my cursor is still on the screen. Anyway, because I'm a professional streamer, don't you know? Okay. Use. Oh. Thank you. You little shit. No, Jar Jar will need to go up there. Because I try to be a completionist with getting all the collectibles, but that takes extra time and effort. Ooh. How do I get that without dying? Probably be R2-D2 in free play, but oh, will I chance it? No, because I want to keep my studs for the super kit. Oh, well, that makes it much easier then. Fuck's sake. And here was I thinking, what sort of magic maneuver will I pull off to get the mini kit? Just used to force on a platform. Okay. It is kind of sad in a way, going back to the previous Star Wars films after Disney infected it, because Disney have, like, they've pretty much just, well, it's not news to anyone, but they have irrevocably damaged the legacy of that franchise just because they wanted their Mary Sue character to trump everything. And like even the line at the end, "I'm Rey Skywalker." Bitch, you pillaged that name off of those characters. And I'm just sort of retrospectively thinking in my Force Awakens review, which, you know, obviously I'm guilty as well of sort of, you know, fanboying the fuck out when The Force Awakens came out, even though it is a shameless reskin of A New Hope. Like a very incompetent reskin, a clone of A New Hope. Just because J.J. Abrams, like, he just thought, oh, let's dazzle everyone with some neat visuals, and, you know, who cares about the internal conflict that the Resistance and the Republic are sort of simultaneously like active factions. And no wait, I reworded that. Let me reword that. The New Republic is still in power, but they're being threatened by the First Order. But at the time the New Republic is in power, the Resistance is a thing. And you're just sort of there thinking, okay, it made sense in the OG trilogy. The rebellion was trying to offset the Empire, and the old Republic had fallen. So how in the name of God in the sequel trilogy does that make sense in terms of the power vacuum, I suppose? This is what I mean about the politics of things, where, you know, once again, people were. It was like, it's like a meme at this point that, oh, the Trade Federation, I don't care about that. Trying to concentrate. Whereas if you actually pay attention to the story, like, it's, you know, that it's just cause and effect. All this stuff had to happen so that Palpatine would take this opportunity to become Chancellor and orchestrate his schemes so that he would become the Emperor. I compare that with whatever the hell Snoke was meant to be. Well, I mean, we found out in The Rise of Skywalker that he was a failed clone of Palpatine. Which, you know, that whole thing, they pulled that, like JJ pulled that right out of his ass. And to be honest, I mean, I can criticize him on the writing choice, but I mean, consider what he had to follow up from with the cinematic abortion that was The Last Jedi. I mean, I don't think the most talented writer in the world would be able to craft a satisfying conclusion to The Last Jedi. and I've still only ever seen that film once in the cinema. But I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, The Last Jedi served as a very useful vehicle for all these commentary channels to get off the ground. The likes of Mauler and Co. and Geeks and Gamers Nerdrotic, where, you know, again going back to mischaracterization, oh look at these nerdy incels that they don't like a movie because a strong female character is in it. And that is where we cite, you know, the usual examples. Sarah Connor in Terminator, up until they absolutely butchered her character in Dark Fate. Ripley in Alien. To a certain extent, Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road, even though the messaging in that is just a bit on the nose. And to be fair, I think it was before people, like a larger number of people, were starting to notice, okay, this is just blatant ideology. And it didn't exactly get any better from there. Okay, just the reason I'm walking back is because I wanted to get more studs, but that will screw me over more now. Oh dear. But I think I've gotten everything, which is unfortunate. This is just tedious. Jar Jar could get up there, couldn't he? Get the gold one, there we go. That's still not going to cut it, I don't think. I'm at least going to need another 5,000, I think. Right, I've already pilfered those. We're right back at the beginning now. It's a pity enemies don't drop studs. But that being said, you know, the hearts are handy. Oh. I still don't know if this is going to cut it. Oh, fuck off. Alright. Is that... Oh, no it's not. I think... You know what, I think that's... I think that would be enough, actually. Seriously, droids, get wrecked. Seriously. Yeah, I think that would bring me up to the cap. Because I know there's a line of studs at the end of the level, but the thing is, I don't know if you'd be able to get them before it jumps to the cutscene. It triggers the cutscene, but that doesn't matter because yeah, one last patch and I think I've got it. Fuck you. Oh my god. I just want my studs, man. I just want my studs. Out of context, that says a bit. Oh, that's irritating. Oh, perfect. There we go. Brilliant. Now, I just have to make the arduous trip to the end of the level now. Great. If only I had the force run. Because they showed that ability. It was very cheap editing though, but they did the force run on the Trade Federation ship when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were running away from the droidicas. Which I just think is funny looking back. But they made it its own ability. But at least the abilities had some level of internal logic rather than the ridiculous abilities that they gave Rey in the sequels. Rey and Kylo, I should say, where they are apparently able to communicate with each other via the Force and interact with objects or things in the other person's environment wherever they are. So like Kylo was able to snatch a necklace off of Rey, and then they were able to have a lightsaber battle through Force communication. But I mean, at that point, that's when, you know, we entered clown territory. Oh, I was able to get them before the cutscene. Oh, who cares? Mute. I keep forgetting the soundtrack. Yeah. I'd say they've missed a trick with Boss Nass, that was his name, wasn't it? Where they didn't make the Lego version of him go or the silly little thing he does. That was Brian Blessed who played him, wasn't it? That man is a treasure. Escape from Naboo. I'll turn back the game audio on after the next cutscene, where it's just going to be, well, pretty much how things play out in the movie, but, you know, there's a bit of Lego humour, if that's even a thing. Although that being said, because I've played other Lego games where they they reimagine scenes. Or actually, no, I spoke too soon. There's a bit of humour here. Which doesn't happen in the movie. They gave all the comic relief to Jar Jar, and we know how that ended up. Alright, I'll turn this back on. Wait. Thought I was in trouble there. I find it interesting though that Queen Amidala has a pistol, but then later in the game you're able to play as Palpatine before he's unmasked as the Emperor, and Palpatine as a playable character is probably the most useless character in the game outside of a gonk droid, where all he can do is jump. Like, he has no weapons, he has no abilities. But then again, his like when he's unmasked as the Emperor, which is another separate character. I mean, he has the lightsaber, he has his signature spinning across the room. That movie does in Revenge of the Sith, where he faces off against Mace Windu and his posse. The infamous "I am the Senate" scene. Like, just going back to what I was saying earlier on, like, the prequels are not by any stretch, like, decent films, but my god, the memes. Oh, God bless the memes. Which I wouldn't put it past Disney to, insert some of those references or memes into the Kenobi series for nostalgic value. Like, say, if he enters a scene and just goes, "Hello there." Or, what the other one? So uncivilized. But it's just... It's just disappointing when you see... like reaction channels, like those who were reacting to the trailer in Kenobi, and they were absolutely creaming their pants at it. Like, a part of me wants to believe that they're just putting it on, but I'm just thinking, why would you have such a visceral reaction to what is essentially just repackaged nostalgia? And they were going all out in that trailer. They were playing Duel of the Fates, they were playing what's it called, Battle of the Heroes, the track when Obi-Wan and Anakin are dueling each other in Mustafar. Like, they know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to hit people in the fields. You can't dodge. No, I think they brought in the dodge mechanic in the follow-up game to this, the original trilogy game, which I really enjoyed the second, like, a Star Wars. And we'll have to see how worthy of a successor that the Skywalker saga Star Wars Lego Star Wars game is to its predecessors. Because apparently you're able to travel between planets, and you're not sort of restricted by the parameters of the level you're on, if that makes sense. Because in story mode you're essentially you're going through the events of the movie, sort of chronologically, divided into chapters. But yeah, I think there's a few new features in the Skywalker Saga game, which intriguing. It does seem intriguing, enticing. Like, I did have a sort of an inkling in my head, will I buy it? Because I will say though, I have been browsing Steam for, you know, new games or discounted games. I think I bought probably about 10 games in the past 6 months, which for me now, I know there's some people who would probably listen to that thinking, huh, amateur. But oh, I just killed my partner. No, I was going to make a joke there, but probably would be inappropriate. Not probably, it would be. Okay, can you jump down? Yeah, I won't die if I got in there. There's a fucking hook there. There's always the risk of dying at the hands of these droids. Oh, neat. Minikit. Happy days. Okay. Let's press on. And here are the Jedi boys. I'm just reminding myself of Red Letter Media's video on the Phantom Menace, where they had asked a selection of people the defining character traits of the main cast of characters in the original series, and then did the same thing for the for Qui-Gon Obi-Wan, the cast in the Phantom Menace, and it was interesting. Like immediately they were able to ascribe character traits to Luke, Han, Leia, Darth Vader, etc. Sorry, and then when it came to Qui-Gon, crickets chirping, and the reason I'm thinking about it is because try to apply that to the characters in the sequel trilogy. Like, what do you say about Rey, other than the fact that she's impossibly overpowered, and, you know, stakes do not apply to her? I mean, the one sort of attribute I would apply to Finn would be criminally wasted as a character. Because it just... And I mean, I complained about this in my Rise of Skywalker video with Dave. Just the untapped potential of that. Like an ex-stormtrooper defecting to assist the resistance, and you know, very sort of protective of Rey and stuff like that. And you know, that happened in The Force Awakens, and you're thinking, well, yeah, certainly a lot of potential. Would be interested to see what happens in The Last Jedi, and they turn him into a fucking clown. Like, to the point where John Boyega himself was pissed off at the writing he was given, and I do not blame him in the slightest. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know, I wish him the best, really, because he was given shit material, but, you know, seems like a decent actor. When he is not simping for Rey or screaming his name from the sidelines in every other scene. God, it's just upsetting. Right. Imagine this sort of security system being deployed in real life. Yes, we have these platforms that go up and down periodically and shoot the targets to unlock the door. Or even in the movie, that would be funny to see. I mean, it wouldn't be any more ridiculous than some of the other stuff we had to grin and bear. Okay. One, two, three. I will say also, and I'm definitely not the first person to say this, but I just find it hilarious how right at the time when Disney had announced The Force Awakens, and you had J.J. Abrams and people saying, you know, trying to discount the prequels, saying, oh, don't worry, this will be far superior than the prequels. and then the films happened, and now we're at the point where, you know, for the sake of member berries, you know, they've already butchered the OG characters. So let's pilfer from the prequels. Let's have a Naboo starfighter in the Boba Fett show, which is really just, you know, Mandalorian season 3 shoehorned in there like a Trojan horse. And you know, Kenobi is getting his own show now in the aftermath of Order 66. Then they're bringing in canon from Star Wars, the Clone Wars and Rebels. It's just, they should have just stopped. Like, and it's just completely flies in the face of, you know, Kylo Ren's infamous line, "Let the past die." Well, you know, you're not exactly practicing what you're preaching there, mate. And I mean, there's a reason that the title of the stream is so named. Oh, Jesus Christ. As well as it being a reference to Red Letter Media. Okay. Nope. That's no good. I think someone free play would reach that. I am just going to harvest these studs and finish the level. And I think that would be a good place to wrap things up. Yeah. No need for more studs. We have our super kit. Drop. Alright, mute. Turns out I can skip it. Alright. I think we'll call it a night. But yeah. This has been a nice bit of catharsis, I suppose. So, you know, once again, thank you for tuning in. And catch you next time.